Hello everyone, welcome to my weird and wonderful world, and today's video is in response to my last video where I talked about real comedy and the snowflakes. Now, first of all, I just want to begin by saying that everything I said in that last video, and I did say this in my last video and on this video, is my opinion. But also that I don't have anything against anyone. Just because I use the word snowflake doesn't mean that and referring to Gen Zs, okay, for example, I'm not talking about all Gen Zs. I'm not saying that I think all Gen Zs are they take offense too easily. It's just in general, from what I've seen and from the way the nature of the multimedia nowadays is, it seems to be the case. It seems like, and it's a big topic for a lot of people, how offended people seem to get nowadays. And it's not just the Gen Zs. There's a lot of people who are taking that too much to heart, that you can't make jokes anymore without being offending somebody. I love people, and I've said this many times on my channel. I love people. I love people of all kinds. I talk to some really cool Gen Zs that are friends of mine, and they're not the type of people that get offended easily either. They can joke around and be jovial and stuff. I'm just talking about a very select. And I didn't mean to single out the Gen Zs in particular, but to prove my point exactly. Now, when I did my last video about the real comedy and that, I actually did lose, like right after I posted that video, I did lose a subscriber, and that was probably because they got offended. It's like, really? You're going to get offended over a video like that and unsubscribe to me? It's okay. It really doesn't bother me at all, because it's never going to stop me from expressing myself about. It's about having a creative freedom, and that is the point of this. We should be able to express ourselves without the YouTube algorithm and everything going wild and crazy. Now, that's kind of what happened to Larry Graves yesterday when he was trying to post something, and I believe he was trying to do a comment on that video that I made, the last video I made, and YouTube flagged him for whatever reason. It's not very specific exactly why they flagged him, but he was not allowed to make a comment for at least 24 hours. And I'll leave a link to that video right up here right there. So watch that. You'll see what happened to Larry Graves. And yeah, it's basically, we shouldn't be afraid to express ourselves, and without being flagged by YouTube like that. I understand there is a lot of hate out there. There is a lot of mean-spirited or even harmful content that they're trying to protect you from, and that's fine. But sometimes, and I said this in the comment, that the one I left for Larry Graves, is that YouTube is like an overprotective parent that is restricting the freedom sometimes that we YouTubers want to have, to be able to have expression, to be able to. And I promise you that my videos is not meant to be harmful. I'm not here to try to offend people. I actually want to, if I can, entertain you. I would love to try some comedy skits myself on this channel. I don't know how funny I can be, or because usually when I want to try to be funny, it's always on the spur of the moment. If I'm trying to be funny, I'm not funny. But but not to be able to limit our creative freedoms. And that is the point that I'm really getting at. It's like, and it's because people get so offended nowadays that a lot of your creative freedoms are just being sidelined. And that's what's happening to real comedy. Real comedy is not is a watered down version of comedy nowadays, because you're not, you can't say this, you can't say that. We got to protect everybody's right to be who they are. And 100%, like I said, I am not against anyone at all. I have some great Gen Z friends that I like to joke around with and talk to. When I said, you know, that the Gen Zs are snowflakes, I really didn't mean everyone. I'm just talking about a certain generality of it. Just only certain ones. But it seemed to be the case that, you know, from what you hear in the media and everything, that Gen Zs, you know, this new generation, and I'm not just strictly, I don't want to say that I'm strictly talking about the Gen Z. It could be anybody. It could be, you know, baby boomers and so on and so forth. Anybody could be offended for whatever reason, and that's fine. You have a right to be offended. But why take it out on people who are just trying to express themselves in comedy? It's not to be taken that seriously, especially when you say at the beginning of the video that this is a comedy bit. And if you're being offended by the comedy, then just switch the channel. Don't crucify the person trying to be funny to the people that they want to be funny with for expressing their true creative freedoms. And that is the point, you know. And like, for example, my videos, okay, it's not about being flashy. This is a means for me to express myself. Because let me put it this way, I am not making any money from this. I don't have a Patreon. I'm not being monetized. None of that. I don't get a single cent from doing these. I'm doing these because right now, I have no expectation of ever making this a career, really, because I don't think my videos would be that popular. People are addicted to what I call junk food media. It's all like, so much of it is junk food that's not really nourishing you at all. It's just basically a medicated medium that just helps you click out and deal with your day. But there is so much smart programming that you could also watch. Like there's a channel called Be Better. Or Be Smart. Yeah, Be Smart. It used to be called, I forget now. It used to be called It's Okay to Be Smart, but now they changed it to Be Smart. There's also Neil deGrasse Tyson's Star Talk, you know, which is also great. There's these podcasters who although they're talking to celebrities, they're talking about therapy. They're talking about better health. They're talking about great things. Those are the type of programming people should be watching more. The ones that really enrich your life and actually it's educational and gives you something. But there's so much junk food out there in terms of the media. Like, as much as I enjoy Mr. Beast, and I watch every episode of Mr. Beast, and that's only every once in a while. It's not an everyday thing. He's not posting a video every day. I think he only posts maybe once every 2 weeks or once every month. But let's face it, that is junk food for the brain. It's not nourishing. There's nothing that's going from that that's going to enrich your life. It's basically just I'm going to click out for a few minutes and just kind of watch this video that's not going to give me anything. again, but that's just a point. You know, that's just my opinion. That's how I feel about it. I really do try on a daily basis to watch things that are real people talking about real things, their interests, and I learn from that. I learn from Larry Graves, for example, or even Glenn Calloway, because I love sharing music. I love hearing what they're into, and it opens my mind to other music that I wouldn't necessarily consider listening to, and vice versa. You know, it's a means of sharing your interest. That's why I watch those particular channels. I liked watching Neil deGrasse Tyson Star Talk because I love learning about astrophysics and all that stuff. You know, I love being educated. I was a huge fan of Vsauce with what's his name, Michael Stevens, and yeah, they're all the 3 different channels, but I don't see too much of that anymore. They don't post much at all anymore. But I watched every single episode I could of that when they were posting, or I had gone back and rewatched all the previous episodes that they had made, because I think stuff like that is interesting. I like watching Adam Savage. Adam Savage's Test It and stuff. I mean, his little podcast and shows and that, because again, I learn from that. I learned I learned about the law and about like American law and that from watching Audit the Audit and Long Island Audit, for example. I try not to watch as much junk food for the brain as I would say. Very little, like maybe about 10-15% of the content that I watch would consider junk food, like junk food media. I really try my best, and that's the beauty of the internet. You can find all kinds of stuff. But going back to my original point, is about that freedom of expressing, to express yourself in the way that you need to be a whole person. Try to find the humanity in the programming that you're watching, which is why I love watching Larry Graves, because it's another person that like me. He's like, you know, he's like, he could be like a really good neighbor. Like I'm friends with my neighbors in my building, like quite a few of them, because it's interaction. It's an interaction that I think is so necessary to have in this life. I wish Larry Graves was my neighbor, because I think he would be a cool guy to hang out with. He seems so down to earth and real, even when he's doing his comedy stuff. And yeah, I will never ever be offended by that kind of comedy. I will never be offended by. I don't take offense easily at all, and I kind of laugh at those people who do take offense, because I keep wondering. It's like why are you stressing yourself out over nothing? It's really not a big deal. And I understand YouTube's algorithm of trying to be that overprotective parent to protect its, you know, they're really protecting their own self-interest, and they're not there really to protect the viewers and the people posting videos. Exactly. It really is. They're only protecting their own self-interest. But yeah. So in regard to my last video and Larry Graves, because Larry Graves, as I don't know if I mentioned this already, he wanted to comment on my last on my last video and show me he wanted to show me a comment that somebody left on his video, and for some reason YouTube flagged him and stopped him from being able to comment for at least 24 hours. They said 10 hours, but it was more like 24 hours where they restricted him from being able to comment on anybody's comment section, because they thought or believed that he had some harmful comments somehow, that it was either spam or whatever. And I don't think that was fair, because he's been going for such a long time, for at least, I think he said 16 to 18 years now, being a YouTuber, and that's never happened to him before. So I understand his outrage. I understand his concerns about that. Like, I think it's sad that YouTube had to do that, you know, being that overprotective parent. But again, okay, I want to stress one more time that this is my opinion. Larry Graves was expressing his opinion, and that is all it is. And that YouTuber, that person who unsubscribed to my channel, they proved my point that, you know, is people get offended. And I think it's kind of ridiculous how offended. Now, for example, we can be offended by stuff, but it doesn't really give, like, okay, I will tell you something that offends me, but I have no right to go out and say, hey, you can't do that because I don't like that, and I'm against you because you do this. I get offended when I go out in the summertime, okay, and I see men with ugly looking chests and bellies and stuff walking around with no shirt on, when they're just bare chested. That offends me, and I think it's gross. I think it's disgusting. I hate looking at that. But do I have a right to go up to them and say, hey, could you put your shirt back on? You're offending me. Absolutely not. They have 100% every right to do so. Just because I'm offended doesn't mean I have a right to get offended. I can be offended, but I don't have a right to get offended. And that's how I feel about the content on YouTube. We should be able to express ourselves more freely without being subjected to judgments, to these, yeah, to being judged like that. It's not fair to our creative freedoms. I'm sort of repeating myself now, but this is kind of how I feel about the subject. You know, it kind of irks me a little bit that our expressions can be so minimized. So anyway, I love all my subscribers. I love all my viewers. I have nothing against anyone at all, you know, and I have nothing but good wishes and good intentions for everyone out there. This is just a medium of expression. You should never take it 100% seriously. Always take it with a little grain of salt. So, before I ramble on any more than I have already, I'm just going to let you go here, and I want to say to everybody, like always, please be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everyone, have a great day, evening, night, wherever you may be. Peace, everyone.